Hello everyone, thanks for joining me tonight. If you are tuning into the Twitch stream, feel free to chat. I got the chat window open and I'll be checking in on it periodically. So, anyways, the game that we're here playing tonight is going to be the first time I've played this one for the system. I've played it in the arcade before, and I believe at some point in time I probably played it for the Sega Genesis as well. Maybe even the Sega Master System back in the day, but or was it the Nintendo? I don't know. I remember a not so impressive version of it. But anyways, the game I'm talking about is the Sega classic arcade game Space Harrier. So that game originally came out in like 1985, and let's see here. I believe it, obviously, I think it debuted in the arcade originally, and it's basically like a kind of an on-rails 3D shooter. It's using the same game engine that like Outrun and After Burner use, as well as another. There's a fourth game that is escaping me at the moment, but so it's classic, Sega arcade games from the 80s. Outrun is obviously probably the most well-known, but yeah, this is like a space-based one where you're kind of flying through space, shooting in 3D. It's got like 18 stages, something like that. It was a pretty popular game. I thought it was always really fun to play in the arcade. So, the game also came out in 1986 for the Master System, which obviously, the Master System, as great as it was compared to the Nintendo, couldn't quite keep up with the arcade. So it's a very stripped down version, but probably still, pretty decent. And then it also came out on the Sega Genesis. I'm not sure what year, 91 or something, 89, I don't know. Anyways, the Sega Genesis version was a little bit closer. It also came out on the NES at some point. It came out on, TurboGrafx 16, a whole slew of different systems, Sinclair, Amstrad, Commodore 64, ZX Spectrum, and so on and so forth. Even the Game Gear's listed here, so it's definitely gotten around. It's more recently come out on the 3DS. Yeah, so as well as I think it's in a few different compilation discs for like some various newer systems, But the one I'm playing though is going to be the 32X version, which, to my understanding, is a fairly close arcade port. I'm gonna guess you can probably find a closer port on maybe some of the compilation discs that maybe have come out for, like, I don't even know which ones it's on, to be honest, but I know there's some Sega classic compilations that ended up on maybe like Xbox, one of the Xbox variants, PS2 or 3, I'm not sure. But before those, I think this was about as close as you got to the arcade at home for this game. So, and I've never played that version, so it should be pretty fun, I think. So, yeah. So I pulled up the instruction manual as well, just to see if there was anything I wasn't remembering. The controls are really simple. You use the directional pad to fly up and down the screen, and then A, B, or C, they all fire your laser, and that's looks like about it. There's some bonus stages. Let's see here. You can run down on the ground, but you run at the same speed you fly. I don't know how much it matters if you run ever, but when in doubt whether an object is affected by your laser or not, change course. Yeah, don't crash, basically, is what it's saying. So it's ultimately a very simple game, so shouldn't be too difficult to get into this and have a little fun with it. So I think I will. The other thing I wanted to talk about was what the 32X was. Oh yeah, here. It's in the Sonic Ultimate Genesis Collection for the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. If you're looking for one of those compilations that I was talking about a little earlier. So, let's see here. 32X. I just wanted to, if no one's aware of what the 32X is, I'm going to pull it up there. It's right there in the middle of the screen. So, most people are probably aware of it, but if you're not, it is an add-on for the Sega Genesis or the Mega Drive if you're not in North America. It basically added on a bunch of extra chips to the Sega Genesis to give it 32-bit games. It was kind of probably a failed system, probably Sega's most failed system. I don't think there's anything that came off quite worse than this one. It was an exciting, I remember when it was talked about, it was kind of an exciting thing. There's a box art for a 32X game, the one we're playing tonight. It was kind of at this period where, like the Sega Saturn hadn't come out. Super Nintendo was kind of dominating. Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo, they were both pretty comparable in popularity, I would say. But Sega needed something to get out in front of the Super Nintendo in terms of graphics, I think. So they wanted to get this thing out. There's a ton of YouTube videos you can look for about the history of this thing, so I'm not going to go too deep into it. But ultimately, it only ended up having, let's see here. Where's the list? Well, I can't. Oh, here's the game list. 40 titles were made worldwide, which is not very many. 36 North American, and then there were 6 that required the 32X and the Sega CD. So I think it was just a matter of it was just too late, I think, to the market. I think my personal opinion is that if this thing had come out maybe 2 years before it did, I bet this thing would have been pretty popular, because it's actually not that bad of the graphics that this thing can output, 2 years before it came out would have probably been pretty mind-blowing for most people. It was, outperforming most anything that, not most anything, but the capability was there. It wasn't always fully realized in these games, but there's a lot of processing power here. Visually, it could do a lot more than the Sega Genesis could alone. So it's kind of a shame. The Saturn came out, kind of squashed it. Even though the Saturn didn't do super well, it did more. It was more well received than this thing. So, anyways, long story short, playing it on the 32X, which was an add-on for the Sega Genesis, which kind of was a big failure. But this game looks pretty cool, so let's give it a shot. I'm going to pull up the system now. Alright, so let's see here. We want to put the game up there, get rid of our little picture of the system. Alright. So, like I said, I got the chat window open, so feel free to chat with me. If you're watching this on YouTube later, because this will end up there, feel free to, tell me your experience with Space Harrier or 32X, retro gaming in general. Throw it down in the comments. And always, 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 if you enjoy this at all, if you find this at all entertaining, please give me a subscribe on whether it's on Twitch or on YouTube. Every little bit helps, and I'm just going to keep making these game videos and hope everyone enjoys them. I'm having fun playing them, so alright, let's fire this up. Let's see here. Sega! Oh yeah, there's that classic Sega intro. Alright, Space Harrier. 1994 is when this one came out, it looks like. I don't know if I said that earlier or not, but level normal player 3 or 5. I'm gonna do 5 just so we can see. You know, I don't expect to be a super pro at this game. I haven't actually played it in forever, and yeah, normal up and down. Okay, cool. All right, let's start.
Welcome to the fantasy zone. Get ready.
Stage 1, Moot. Moot? I don't remember that being a name. Moot Point? So yeah, I mean, immediately you'll notice that the graphics on this game are really cool. I mean, they're this, you know, anyways, they're this pixel art based. What did that say? Anyways, it uses a lot of scaling techniques, so it's that kind of. Oh my gosh, I'm not very good at this game. Bear with me here while I get my Space Harrier legs kind of back on me. Wow. Wow, what are those things that are exploding out there? It's like nuclear explosions. What is that? Oh, it's not one of those. So the music is also really great. I think you can probably hear it slightly. What is that? Oh, okay, the boss. That's right. I forgot about the boss. It's like ends up being kind of like a Chinese dragon type character, right? I think I have to hit him in the head, because all my other shots appear to be bouncing off. It's gonna be tricky, I think. You've got to try to avoid those fireballs. He's changed to blue. That must mean he's getting damaged. I don't know. Usually when the bosses change colors. Whoa. Whoa. Oh, now he's green. He was green before though, wasn't he? Oh, now he's red. Just mad. Oh yeah. Stage 2 Giza. This looks like a desert stage, kind of. Oh yeah, I just love this game. I just love these old 3D Sega games. Actually, I did a poll on Twitter a couple days ago, and I had about 50 people to vote in, and it was, what was your favorite 3D Sega arcade game? And I think there might be more than the ones I included, but the 3 big ones I could think of were Outrun, After Burner, and this one. And I think, surprisingly enough, well, not surprisingly, Outrun was the big winner. And then there was this one. And then After Burner, because we only had a handful of votes. So. Yeah, some of these stages get really wild. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. That was close. Oh, his head's floating. I think that was my last life. No?
Get ready.
No, game over. Game over. That was fun. I got the top score. Well, that didn't take long. Let's go. Our retro gaming dev Sega. Alright, let's give it another go. I mean, I don't know how far I'm going to get in this game, but they don't appear to let you have any continues, which is strange because, you know, the typical experience with an arcade game is that you could continue if you kept pumping quarters in, I think. I don't think Space Harrier didn't let you do that. So a lot of times, you know, arcade ports, home ports of arcade games would give you continues, even if it was a limited amount, so it wasn't like, you know, too easy to totally beat it. It would give you like, you know, 3 continues, so it's kind of like you had 3 tokens or quarters or whatever the constant play was. Sometimes it's hard to tell where exactly you're lined up with out there, so you just kind of gotta assume that you're, if you want to get a guy in the top left, you kind of just gotta go up there and kind of blast around up there a little bit. Wow, what is exploding like that? That is crazy. Okay. I think the boss is coming now, yep. Let's see if I can kill him a little quicker this time. So I don't think when he's got his back to me, I'm hurting him. So I think I have to hit him in the head. But it's kind of hard to tell for sure. Let me know if the stream is getting choppy at all. I'm having a little issue with my ISP lately where my upload speed seems to be kind of not so great. If that keeps up, I may have to go to non-streaming, but so far tonight I've been seeing mostly green, so hopefully it's not too ugly looking. I kind of turned the stream settings down a little bit to keep it from getting too choppy. Yeah, last week was a rough stream day. I was playing Kung Fu Brothers for the Nintendo Entertainment System, and I had a lot of frame dropping issues. The game was really fun too, which is too bad that I had such a bad stream. The frame drops, like every 10 seconds or so it would drop for like a second, which was probably really frustrating to watch. And then it didn't record the game audio. so it was just me talking. And I even talked about the audio. I was like, oh, listen to that. Nobody could probably do their thing. Whoa. Wow, that's intense. So I'm like, yes, I gotta get that guy in the middle, yeah? Oh my goodness. Wow, that's crazy. Alright. Stage 3, Amar. Oh wow. Oh, this is colorful. So it's big mushrooms. I wonder if this has any, relationship to like Fantasy Zone. I don't know. I haven't played that game, Fantasy Zone, much. I played a little bit, I think on the Nintendo. But I was just watching a video from iRetro Gamer on YouTube where they were having a little talk about Phantasy Star games. I'd really love to get an extra life. I feel like I'm doing pretty decently. Oh, that's it. That was my life. That was my life. My life's over. Game over. Game over. Game over. That's too bad. Well, wow, this guy, he's just, spelled it wrong. Anyways, I was talking about iRetro Gamer on YouTube. They had a video about Phantasy Star, and the game looks, I played a little bit on the NES at some point, and it looks really good. It was a fun game, but they just made me realize I need to check that game out too, because it's just a great game in general. But I'm wondering if that third stage was somehow related, because it's very colorful, and I feel like the game was a lot of mushrooms, that type of imagery. But it just might be. It might not. It just makes it very funky. It made me think that. So yeah, this game's crazy though. It's fun. I love the graphics. I love the graphics and the music. It's cool. It feels like how I remember the arcade version. It might be slightly less, slightly not the same resolution, I guess. But you know, this was going to be played on TV at home, so it didn't need to be quite as high resolution. And now, you know, and I think arcade monitors were a little bit better quality back in the day, so I think they typically did a little bit higher resolution, but I could be wrong about that. I'd say that's the only thing. It feels a little blurry, but the scaling is, I mean, the game plays fast, and the graphics look nice. I mean, if I got this in 1994, I'd probably be pretty happy with it. Yeah. That was quicker. I'm getting better at it. That first boss there. So ideally, I could get through and not losing lives on the next boss. It wasn't all that hard. It just got real, like, I like how you run. Fly. I have to look at what the story is in this, in the manual, after the next death. Check that out, because I don't really understand what. You know, I think there's a not too serious story behind it, and obviously it doesn't matter. It's more about the game, right? Oh yeah, this is where it gets. That's too bad. Alright, this is where it gets a little intense. These pillars are. No good. Alright, well, let's try to hold it together here. I feel like that first time I made it through those pillars it was pretty like randomly. Oh my gosh, I thought I was gonna get by those. It's really hard to tell like, how fast those fireballs are coming at you sometimes. Man, I'm gonna burn up all my lives on that. Alright, I wish there was some extra lives at some point. Nice. I mean, I suppose you just gotta get good, right? Get good, son, right? Like the saying on the internet, it's get good, don't be bad. Alright. Alright. No problem. No problem. Alright, I'm tired of entering my name, so I'm just going to put that in real quick. Now, I'm going to look at the manual real quick and see if there's a little bit on the story here. Because the manuals used to have that stuff in it. Into Dragonland. That's how it starts out. The battle is almost over. After years of relentless attack, the demon Valda's evil forces have finally broken through the protective force field guarding Dragonland. The Sentinels of Dragonland were no match for the invading horror. Dragonland is now under Valda's terrible reign. Meet Harry. He is the last of the great Sentinels of Dragonland. While escaping the advancing invaders, he noticed that the attackers' bombs had destroyed much of the surrounding terrain. Among the wreckage, something poked through the ground, a jetpack. But he had never seen anything quite like this one. It felt so light. He knew of stories of knights who had long ago guarded Dragonland and carried such powerful ancient machines. He had heard that such jetpacks enabled the knights to run at terrific speeds. Huge lasers were supposed to be supposedly mounted in the front. No doubt, just rumors. Harry wondered what the big bright button on the left side of the jetpack was for, so he pushed it. Whoa! Harry felt himself lift off the ground. He was really flying. At first it was frightening, but his panic soon turned to exhilaration. The jetpack was surprisingly simple to use. He soon realized, however, that he was not the only one flying. A formation of airplanes appeared on the horizon, but they were traveling too fast to be remnant Sentinel forces. They must be Velden fighters. They changed course and headed directly for him. Harry had the feeling a new battle was beginning. As Harry, you'll fight in each of Dragonland's provinces, starting with Moot. As you progress, Velda will send stronger and stronger forces. Can you make it all the way to the capital and retake Dragonland from the demon Velda? Quite the story. Kind of like Space Age, like, fantasy novel type thing where, there's the hero who stumbles across a magic sword and a stone and he's going to save the kingdom. Anyways, yeah, so I think I should give it one more go. One more go. See how far we can get in here. I wonder if I should turn it to easy. Yeah, just once. One's on easy. I just would like to see a little further, but I want to probably cut the stream here pretty quick because
Welcome to the family.
oh yeah,
Get ready.
you guys are only gonna want to watch this one game for so long, right? I feel kind of cheap doing this sentence. Actually, I kind of regret that choice now, but let's just see it through. See what we can find. I'd like to see Dragon. Yeah, this song is like really exhilarating sounding, isn't it? Do 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 do. I'd actually like to try out some other 32X games. Maybe I will tonight later. Maybe there'll be a second stream after this one's concluded. What's another 32X game to play? Anyone have any suggestions out there? And feel free to throw your suggestions in the chat or in the comment section on YouTube, because I'll read it. Maybe in a future stream I can play that. So I didn't have a 32X as a kid. I had a friend who had an older brother who got one, and we thought it was pretty sweet.
Get ready.
But I think he got it. I think there might have been a hockey game. He was really into hockey, and I think he got it for a hockey game. But I could be wrong. I might be thinking of something else. I know he had the Star Wars arcade game, I believe, and I'm not sure if he had anything else for the 32X when I tried it. I remember with the 32X being, when it was announced, when it was starting to be hyped in gaming magazines, it was really awesome sounding. But by the time it actually came out, I think I already had gotten rid of my Sega Genesis. Oh my goodness, so much for easy mode, right? I had already gotten rid of my Sega Genesis, which I obviously regret now, but at the time I wasn't really playing it, and I wanted to, I don't know, probably get money for it. I don't know what I wanted money for. Probably just to buy some game from Super Nintendo. start getting money for the Sega Saturn. I don't know. But by the time this came out, I don't think I had my Sega Genesis, and it was $150 or $200. I can't remember. To get the add-on. The 32X add-on, then you had to buy the games, and there weren't that many games. And, now, I mean, they did have Star Wars.
Get ready.
Boo. That's too bad. Alright, one more try. One more go. Because it's just a lot of fun to play. I don't know if all of this will make it up on YouTube. So, let's see here. Should I go back to... I gotta go back to medium. I gotta go back to normal. I feel really cheap. Music test. Battlefield, Lakeside. Squilla. Sounds like boss music. Alright. Alright, I'm gonna do my best this time, so I might not chat a whole lot. And if that's the case, I'm sorry, but I will chat after I give it my best. And away we go.
Welcome to the fantasy zone. Get ready.
I would be curious to know if there are any extra lines. Like a score, a certain score, a million points, I don't know. The score does add up, but I'm already at 245,000. This is really tricky. It's like a sweet spot you gotta... Getting there. I got him, but I lost life in the process. It's not great. This boss on this one, I haven't been able to do it very successfully yet. And those pillars, once the pillars come in, they'll really hold it together. As I keep saying it, the action starts right away, so I can't beat them. I'll have to watch it back, I guess. I don't think it's anything important, but I can't help it. I'm kind of curious. I feel like, this is the worst. And these pillars and the fireballs, it's really hard to... Alright, and here's the boss with my butt, so I keep moving him.
Get ready.
Oh, come on.
Get ready.
Gaslight.
You're doing great.
Here's where it goes crazy. So the pillars are this tall. Just see if I get to the next boss. See what the next boss is. 18 stages? Did I read that right? 18 stages? And I can get stage 3. Stages. That's crazy. That's crazy. Alright, well. I'm gonna give a little review of the game. My final thoughts on it. I might play some more on stream, but this will probably get cut off for YouTube. I don't think I want to put up a super long YouTube video on this, but my thoughts on this game are that it's a lot of fun to play, period. It's a great arcade game. I mean, it was great back in the day. I always had fun playing it when I was a kid in the arcade. And this seems like a really good port of it. I'd have to see the actual arcade version next to it to say it was to say how close it actually is visually, but it's definitely really good version of it especially compared to like the Sega Genesis version and the Sega Master System versions, which were fairly stripped down when compared to the arcade. It's a lot of fun. It's hard. The music's good. The visuals are great. I love all the giant sprites and the sprite scaling. It's really exciting to play. Does it have a lot of long-term replay value? Probably not. I mean, you know, back in the day, if I had gotten this, yeah, I could probably see sinking, you know, a good 10, 15 hours into it. Excuse me, 10, 15 hours into it, playing it. And probably eventually either getting really good at it or getting bored with it. It's hard to say. It's a little frustrating that they don't give you continues, and that maybe the lives are the same as continues. I can't remember in the arcade if you only got 3 lives or if it was 1 life per credit. It's a little frustrating they don't give you some continues though. I feel like in the arcade you definitely would have, you know, I would have been playing, I would have gotten to like level 3 like I did and died. I probably would have put a few more credits in and kept going. I think I would have. So to not hear and have that option is a little frustrating. I'd be curious, maybe there's some cheat codes to get some extra lives. And then the other thing I'm wondering is, do you get extra lives from points? Because I didn't seem to ever gain any, I don't think. And I mean, 3 levels in, 4 levels in, no extra life from score. It's pretty hardcore, but So, but yeah, with that, I think I will, I'll probably, unless anyone else is here and wants to see me give it another shot, I think I'm going to close the stream on this one, though I think I will play another game tonight. So, stay tuned while I queue up the next game. Okay? Thanks for watching this one.